All right, hello everyone. I go by Choi and currently a first-year master's student at the School of Information specializing in information economics for management as well as human-computer interaction. Now, before I finished my undergrad just last April from Michigan, I spent most of my early years chasing after a role model. Ram, who was one of my closest childhood friends, was a stellar student at the Ross School of Business, talented musician, and was always generous. But more importantly, one thing he understood was that what it meant to grow up as a 1.5 generation immigrant, in the sense that there are times when we feel trapped between two different worlds without really being able to strictly align our identity to one over the other. But at the same time, because I looked up to him so much, I decided to go by Jay starting my undergrad because I thought that by doing so, I would be able to become more like him, someone who was understanding, compassionate, and seemed to know what he wanted and how to go get it. But imagine that one day, this role model that you aspired and really looked up to while at the same time growing up with them departed this world without saying goodbye. When Ram passed away 3 years ago after a tragic car crash, I felt at a loss and without a sense of direction in life. And I felt as if it was heading toward nowhere. But at the same time, I had to tell myself that I need to reevaluate my plans and to stop following in other people's footsteps. And to do so, during this soul-searching period, I started teaching myself new skills by using the internet and eventually came across Code Academy and other forms of massive open online courses, or MOOCs. And this discovery of MOOCs helped me, or at least reminded me how satisfying, if not empowering it can be to learn new skills. And in order to maintain this newfound sense of empowerment, I decided to start or establish a startup named after the Italian word for shark, in order to continue move forward because I felt as if I was a reinventing shark. I could only survive by constantly moving forward. Now, with only 3 months of self-teaching program experiences, I was pretty comfortable with deploying a simple static site. But unfortunately for me, the first client I was able to acquire needed additional help with rebuilding an e-commerce site. Now, from this experience, I was able to better understand some of the areas of improvement that I need to focus on, and that eventually led me to study at the UMSI, and that is why I'm here today. So as a result, I like to consider this startup not as a failure, but more so as a still starting up, since I'm here at the University of Michigan School of Information, learning, continuing to polish my craft so that I can better help and empower my users. So as an example, one of my recent projects include rhyming tool for essentially users to input their own rhyme schemes to memorize new information. And by constantly doing so, I hope to make this almost ingrained into their primal instinct. And that's why I just have to call it primal instinct. And for instance, for an example of an application, it would be, so stock market is capricious, so I market dangerous. And at the moment, I have completed the digital prototype for building the Primal Instinct, but I'm still learning about data application design for one of my classes, so I hope to begin implementing the backend for this app after this semester. Now, while this project is providing me with the opportunity to continue improving my programming skills, I'm still looking for a summer internship where I can face greater challenges to really measure how far I have journeyed over the last 2 years. So if your firm is also passionate about really empowering your users, consumers, and clients alike, then I would really appreciate a moment to talk about some time when you felt empowered. And thank you very much for listening to my story.
Thanks, Jay.